I am not teaching, I am publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in the UK test part 143. William Beveridge. While doing leg stretching, and if you participate in the leg stretching, that is at your own risk. So, we're starting with bringing one leg in front. We're putting the heel onto the ground, and we're pulling the toes towards us. And that stretches the leg, and from time to time, we're contracting the quad muscles. So we're starting with contraction of the quad muscles. William Beveridge, 1879 until 1963. William Beveridge, later Lord Beveridge, was a British economist and social reformer. And release the contraction. So William Beveridge, he had later got the title Lord Beveridge. So William Beveridge, he was a British economist. That means he was from Britain, or he flourished, he worked in Britain, and he was an economist. He was doing things with the economy. And we're contracting again. He was not doing things with the economy. He was talking and writing and reading and philosophizing about economy, something like that means. And he was a social reformer. So he made reforms. Reform, the word means re-inform. That means he rechanged how the social landscape was. And we are not contracting anymore. Just to be, I explained about the reformer and what is possible to now make out of the word. So he was a social reformer. That means he was thinking about the economy and contract again. He was thinking about the economy and probably also about the social life, and he looked how he maybe could reform social life. But it gets better, I guess. He served briefly as a Liberal MP and was subsequently the leader of the Liberals in the House of Lords, but is best known for the 1924 report Social Insurance and Allied Services, known as the Beveridge Report, releasing for last time a contraction. Okay, we're going through the sentence word by word. He served briefly as a Liberal MP. MP is a member of Parliament, and contract for last time, the court methods. So he was in the Parliament, a member of the Parliament. And there he was briefly, just for a short time, he was a Liberal MP. So we know of Conservatives. Churchill was a Conservative MP, and we're changing the leg. And we're knowing of Labour MPs. We're knowing, and we contract, pull the toes towards you, and contract the leg. We're knowing of Clement Attlee, the Prime Minister of 1945-1951. He was a Labour MP, and now we're having here a Liberal MP. And release the contraction, but keep it stretch. So we're knowing of Conservatives, of Labours, and of Liberals. There are at least 3 different types. And was subsequently the leader of the Liberals in the House of Lords. I don't know exactly what the word subsequently means, but he was the leader of the Liberals in the House of Lords, and contract again. And this best, so he was the leader of the Liberals in the House of Lords. So he was in the House of Lords, not in the House of Commons, and we know of someone here, we know that Winston Churchill made here 3 speeches to the House of Commons. And in them he said, for example, I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears and sweat. And another one, release a contraction, we shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender. And another one, contract again, never in the field of human conflict was so much out by so many to so few. So, William Beveridge, he was in the House of Lords, and there he was the leader of the Liberals. And he is best known, released for last time a contraction, best known for the 1942 report with the title Social Insurance and Allied Services. Contract for last time a court muscle. Social insurance, that means for insurance, so like an insurance company, I guess, that way people are insured or something like that. And Allied Services, I don't know what that means. And it's also known as the Beveridge Report, that piece of paper from 1942. And we come to the next exercise, the anchor chain stability test. And we're having the toes pointing forward, and we're pressing the leg a bit into the ground, and we're frontal with the main part of the body. So he made the Beveridge Report, or he's best known for the Beveridge Report. I guess he made it, or maybe with help, but he had probably a great impact on it. The Beveridge Report. And another title would be Social Insurance and Allied Services. We're getting an explanation. The report was commissioned by the wartime government in 1941. I don't know what commissioned means, but I guess I'm making the same with reform. It means common mission. Basically, it means it was assigned. I guess that word would mean it was set into mission by the wartime government. Release the stretch a bit, but keep it like that. Whatever that now means, the report was commissioned by the wartime government. I think the wartime government said in 1941, do a report on social insurance and allied services, something like that. It recommended that the government, stretch a leg a bit into the ground, the Beveridge report recommended that the government should find ways of fighting the 5 giant evils of want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness, and provided the basis of a modern welfare state. So, in 1941, the wartime government, under Winston Churchill, and Clement Attlee was the deputy prime minister. Okay, that's not important because we're talking about William Beveridge. And we're having the other leg out and the torso body forward, and we're pressing it a bit into the ground. So, and the report came back, and in that report there's some written on some page, we say that the government should find ways to fight, so to end these things, 5 things. The report says in one place that, and names them with the giant evils: want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness should be defeated. It recommended that the government should find ways of fighting the 5 giant evils of want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness, and provided the basis of a modern welfare state. Release the stretch a bit. So this report provided the base of a modern welfare state. So the modern welfare state, we had a little bit of it, stretch for last time, is, for example, the National Health Service, the NHS, that everyone gets free at the point of use a minimum standard of healthcare, that there was a social security with a system of benefits introduced to make sure that the population is protected from the cradle to the grave, and the government took into their nationalized public ownership the railway, the coal mines, and electricity, gas, and water supply. Now we leg to the outside, the hydraulic cart rig. We're having a flex foot, and we bring foot up and again back. So the modern welfare state of Britain, with these things listed here, I guess they are still like they are here, established in 1945, something like that, is based on that report. And that report recommends to fight 5 evils: want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. Now let's start with, but I don't know what squalor is. But okay, I understand the other words, but I don't understand what it means to fight want. Now I understand the other ones, with disease, ignorance, and idleness. Idleness is basically laziness, I guess, but it can also mean readiness to do something. But I don't understand the other words. Now, disease is probably something which should be fought against. The other leg out and flex foot, and we're bringing it up and again. But diseases would be, in medical sense, targeted with doctors and something like that. Now, but diseases, even if they are little, bacteria and the viruses are little, but it's something which actually exists and can be fought against. It's physically existing, a virus and a bacterium. But how does want and ignorance and when also idleness and whatever squalor is be fought? So basically I don't know what that means. So there are 5 evils. Okay, let's think about it. They're saying there are 5 evils, 5 giant evils. And that is want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. What has that to do with social life? What has wanted to do? Who wants something? What is the problem with it? And we're going to the next exercise. Into a 1990 position with the legs. We're having the hands by our knee, which is behind of us, or the back knee, and we're going with the shoulder to the knee, which is in front of us. It recommended that the government should find ways of fighting the 5 giant evils of want, disease, ignorance. Well, if I'm taking words like this in this order, maybe ignorance means it should be fought with education. Maybe that is meant. That would make sense. That the welfare state should make sure that everyone can receive education. Squalor and idleness. What could be meant with want? whatever, I don't know. You may be asked questions about the formation of a welfare state. Take some time to study the key figures and how they contribute to it, as well as key reports and legislation. Maybe we will get some more, because for now, we don't know so much to these questions. And not to the other side, and we're going with a shoulder 20, which is in front of us. To study the key figures, yes, we're having two. Two will come, R.A. Butler and Dylan Thomas, and how we contributed to it. Clement Attlee, let's start what we have. He was Prime Minister, a Labour Prime Minister, and he led the Labour Party, and Attlee's government undertook the nationalisation of major industry, coal and steel, and he created the NHS and implemented many of Beveridge's plans for stronger welfare state, and also measures to improve the conditions of workers. Okay, we have that with Clement Attlee and now William Beveridge, and we're going to the next exercise, and to 1990, and we're just doing it from. Well, he made the Beveridge report, and that report is the basis on that the modern welfare state is based. And he said there were 5 giant evils: want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. Now we can look up what the word squalor means. That is our obligation. But I don't understand what could be meant for want. And then the other ones also don't make really sense. We're going into the pigeon post, do it only if you know how to do it without the injury exercise, and then do it without the injury exercise. Disease. Ignorance I understand with education, so that the welfare state should establish the possibility that everyone can go to school. Yes, one other thing I remember here, I said to solicitor, I think a solicitor is someone now, I remember, I guess, but I don't know. It is someone who sells houses. So it's not a lawyer, it's similar. It has a lot to do with bureaucracy and contracts, but I think it's someone who sells houses. But I still don't know what it says. Now we can just learn the 5 giant evils. Want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness. I'm going to look up what squalor means, because that is our obligation to know what the words mean, that we understand English. But we will do now something else. First, we're going into the 1990 position on the other side. And we're just going in front and stretching that way. And what we're doing while we're looking back, I wanted to know when this habeas corpus was. Habeas corpus, 1665. That is before the Bill of Rights. It was during Charles II's reign. We're going into the pigeon pose. Only do it if you know how to do it. Well, it means, where was it? Yes, here. That no one can be held prisoner unlawfully, and that every prisoner has a right to a court hearing. We still don't understand it, but I wanted to know when it was. It became law in 1679. In 1679. That's 12 years before the Bill of Rights. So we have that, and we don't have anything to do, we just don't know what squalor means. And when we can go to the flags, we have a Union Jack, and then in the middle we're having the England, there's George the patron, that is the straight cross, and in the middle we're having Scotland, there's St. Andrew the patron, and that is a diagonal cross before blue background, and when we're having on the left, we have like Ireland, and that is a diagonal red cross, and the patron is St. Patrick, and when we're having down there the dragon, this is Wales. And now we're going to the last exercise, the butterfly stretch. They are having the soles of the feet together, sitting tall, and we're stretching in front. I'm just going to read what we have here to William Beveridge. William Beveridge, 1879-1963. William Beveridge, later Lord Beveridge, was a British economist and social reformer. He served briefly as a Liberal MP and was subsequently the leader of the Liberals in the House of Lords, but is best known for the 1942 report, Social Insurance and Allied Services, known as the Beveridge Report. The report was commissioned by the wartime government in 1941 and recommended that the government should find ways of fighting the 5 giant evils of want, disease, ignorance, quail, and idleness, and provide a basis of a modern welfare state. Thank you very much. And until next time.